So you want to make your audience laugh, but there's one problem. You're not funny. Well, fear not, my unfunny friends, because in this video, I'm going to give you 3 techniques that will make any audience laugh, as long as they're not psychopaths. But seriously, I've used these techniques to entertain many audiences and even win public speaking championships. Before we get into the 3 techniques, you must understand this key principle. Humor happens at someone's expense. What that means is someone needs to be the butt of the joke. Someone always has to come off badly for laughter to occur. And I would challenge you to think about times you've laughed and to really ask yourself, has there ever been a time where someone has not been the butt of the joke? And some people say, well, puns, Kyle, puns. No one's the butt of the joke there. But if I say the past, the present, and the future walked into a bar and it was tense, well, actually, I'm the butt of the joke, the pun master, because I'm not realizing that it's funny. So humor happens at someone's expense. And in the world of public speaking and presenting, there are 3 people that we can make the butt of our joke. And those 3 people are you, people who are not in the room, or the audience. So let me talk about these 3 options and show you how you can find humor. Starting with you, self-deprecating humor. This is the safest form of humor to use, but I would recommend not making fun of things like how short you are, how tall you are, how big you are, how small you are, how old you look, or how you look like you're 12 years old. Why do you want to avoid that? Well, there's a fine line between self-deprecating humor and self-loathing. And if we tend to always be slagging off our physical appearance, that gets into self-loathing and it makes the audience feel sorry for us after a while. So instead of doing that, I recommend telling stories about mistakes you have made. I have a neighbor in my building and she lives with her dad, who's quite an old man. I always see them on the street and she's helping him walk along, or they're sitting in their car about to go on a road trip. They seem to have a really close daughter-father relationship. So one day when I was walking home, I bumped into her and I said, "How's your dad doing?" And then there was a long pause. She looked deep into my eyes and said, "He's not my dad. He's my husband." And that is why I had to move house. So most people find that funny because it's at my expense. I made the mistake of assuming and it backfired upon me. And I think we can all relate to something like that happening to us too. The point is, tell stories about mistakes you have made, which are related to your topic in your presentation. That will be a brilliant way to get the audience laughing without you having to steep to the low levels of making fun of your physical appearance or something like that. By the way, if you want to know how good your public speaking is, take my quiz. It takes 1 minute to complete and it will give you a full assessment of what your strengths are and where you can improve as a speaker. I'll leave the link in the description. The second group is those who are not present. And what I'm referring to here is people who are not in the physical room with you when you're speaking. Now, this could be politicians, celebrities, someone in the office who's not in the room, right? People who are not in the room with you can often be a great source of humor. For example, here's a clip of me telling a story to a virtual audience about someone who is not in the room. I remember when I was standing standing at the start line of my first ever marathon. I was doing the Loch Ness Marathon about a couple of years ago. And I was standing at the start line. It was a terrible day, classic Scotland, etc., etc. But I actually wasn't afraid of the 26.2 miles ahead of me. I was more concerned about the guy standing beside me. You see, this guy was putting something all over his body, like massaging and caressing himself deeply. It was very bizarre. I just couldn't help but stare at him. And of course, he noticed me doing this and looked back. And then he looked straight into my soul and said, "Big man,
have you Vaselined your nipples? And I was like, no, have you? And he was like, I've Vaselined everywhere, pal. And then the race gun goes off and he fires off, slipping and sliding past all the other runners.
As you can see, that went down pretty well. And Vaseline Man was not in the room. It was just the audience imagining what he would look like and how he would sound. And the point is this: try and think about stories, experiences you've had where something strange, something odd, something bizarre happened. That marathon stayed in my mind because of that start line and because of that conversation with Vaseline Man. I think you will have similar weird conversations that you've had in work, in your personal life, that you could bring into your presentation. Of course, the story has got to be related to the topic that you're discussing in the presentation, but this is a great way to make your humor come at someone's expense who's not in the room. The third group is the audience. Now, making fun of the audience can be risky if you do something offensive. And that often happens when people come into a meeting or presentation with a plan to make fun of Sally from accounts, or the boss, or someone in the audience specifically. I find when it comes to making fun of the audience, it's better not to have a plan at all. It's much better to be in the moment and be impromptu. I'm going to show you a clip of Tony Robbins doing this when talking to a guy in one of his seminars who is actually suicidal.
It's because I can feel very peak states in life, but I can go so deep that I don't see a way out.
Yes.
And I'm looking for a way to get out of my body, or to hit myself, or to... I can explain that deep, and I don't find a way out.
What makes you hate yourself? Is it the red shoes?
What?
Is it the red shoes?
No.
Are you sure? Because they're fucking red.
Did you see how impromptu that was? Tony didn't go into his seminar that day thinking, oh, I'm going to make fun of that guy with his red shoes. No, he just walked over to him, looked at him, saw the red shoes, and brought attention to them. Completely impromptu, and that is why it went down so well. And it actually changed that guy's state from being incredibly upset to actually showing a little bit of happiness. Now, if you want more techniques on how to add humor to your presentations, check out this video with my good friend James McGinty, who is a hilarious speaker in his own right. We cover many different methods you can use to add more humor to your talks. I will see you in the next video.